Welcome back, designers. In today's video, we are diving into Criterion A Strand 4, one of the most misunderstood but most powerful parts of the MYP design cycle, developing the detailed design brief. By the end of this video, you will know what a design brief actually is, what the IB expects at the highest achievement levels, how to transform all your research into a clear, confident professional brief, and how to avoid the common mistakes that hold students back from reaching a 7 or an 8. Take a deep breath. This is a moment where your research finally comes together. Let's start with a definition of Criterion A Strand 4. Students must develop a detailed design brief which summarizes the analysis of relevant research. At the highest level, students ought to develop a detailed design brief which summarizes the analysis of relevant research. I want us to notice the key ideas, the key terms that are being used. We're looking at detailed, we're looking at summarizes, we're looking at analysis, we're looking at relevant research. A design brief is not a long list of random research copy-pasted from the internet. It is not a paragraph saying, I will make a product. It is not a vague summary. The design brief is a focused, polished, professional conclusion that answers the question. Given everything I have learned from analyzing the client, the problem, the research, the existing products, what exactly should my solution be? Think of it like a bridge. Strand 4 is a bridge between your research and your design ideas. Why does it matter? Why does a design brief matter? A strong design brief gives your project clarity, direction, boundaries, and purposes. The IB expects your brief to show that you are not guessing. You are making informed decisions based on real evidence. Students should present information in their own words and avoid copying material without analysis. This means your brief should show your understanding of the problem, your ability to connect research findings, your skill in communicating what the solution must achieve. When you do this well, everything in your project becomes easier. Strand B, developing ideas, becomes clearer. Your planning becomes smoother. Your final product becomes stronger. And your evaluation later on becomes more meaningful. In other words, Criterion A Strand 4 sets the stage for the rest of your design cycle. What should be in a high-level design brief? Now, here I'm going to focus on our 7 to 8 level brief, which includes the following. Your design brief should clearly address 5 core elements. 1. The client or the target audience. You are expected to design for a specific person or group. Who are they? What they need? What challenges they face? Why your solution matters to them. Remember, the Strand 1 requirement is to justify the need for a specific client or target audience. Now, Strand 4 ties that into the actual brief. 2. The problem you are trying to solve. Your brief should summarize analysis from your research. You are no longer describing this vaguely. For example, if you researched ergonomics, explain how that affects your design. If you studied user habits, show how that shapes your product. If you compared existing products, highlight what works and what doesn't. This is not storytelling, it's a concise conclusion. 3. We have the key insights from the research. Your brief should only include relevant findings, not every fact you discovered, only the ones that influence the design. For example, research showed that users prefer lightweight materials. Studies indicate that teenagers value customization. Analysis of similar apps revealed that simple navigation increases engagement. These insights show that you actually understood your research, not just collected it. 4. We're looking at the requirements of the solution. This is where your brief becomes very powerful. The solution should be defined by what it must do based on the research. A strong design brief specifies essential features, the components, where we have the target audience, the key research findings. It talks about the functional requirements. It talks about the aesthetic expectations. It talks about the user experience needs. It talks about the environmental considerations. It talks about the safety requirements, the size constraints, and the material suited to the problem. You are not designing yet, keep that in mind. You are describing what the design must achieve, what you're going to create will be able to achieve. 5. We have the success criteria foundations. While the detailed success criteria are built in Strand B as part of the design specification, the design brief should already outline the direction of what success will look like. This means what must the product accomplish, what would make the solution effective for the client, how should the solution be judged later. The IB wants to see evidence that your brief is directly connected to research you've analyzed. What is the structure of a good design brief? Now, I'll give you a simple structure in forms of paragraphs. Paragraph 1, summary of the client and the problem. In the first paragraph, you explain the client, their needs, and the main issue you are addressing. Then you go to the second paragraph. Here you describe your key research findings. Summarize the insights that matter. The user insights I have user research, ergonomics, existing products, market expectations, materials, cost considerations, and so on. Then in the third paragraph, you talk about the implications for the design. Translate the research into design requirements. Explain how each insight shapes the direction of the solution. Then we have paragraph 4. In paragraph 4, we clearly state what the final product must be. Describe the type of solution you will create, including the required features and purpose. Now, how can we score a 7 or an 8? It means we're going to have a detailed research summary, a strong justification where we have every conclusion backed by evidence. We have user-centered focus and then the logical structure. Those enable you to score a 7 and 8, 7 to 8 band. What are the common mistakes and how best can we avoid them? Most people have the content that is required, but what are some of those mistakes that some students make that often drop them from 7.8 to 4.5, 4.5.6? 1. Repeating research instead of summarizing analysis. The brief should not include raw research. It should include your understanding of the research. What do I mean? You researched about the color of bottles or lockers. Now, do not include that you researched the color of the lockers. No. Show what that research will help you with. What do you understand from that research? I understand that some students prefer dark colored lockers, something like that. 2. Don't be too vague. Weak conclusions, like many people prefer without specifics or evidence, tend to make it sound inappropriate, sound so weak. Do not say statements like that product should be good or the solution must look nice. They are not acceptable. You always go down a grade. 3. Introducing new information. Everything in the brief must come from the research you already conducted. Yes. Do not introduce new information in your design brief, but rather based on Criterion A, Strand 1, Strand 2, and Strand 3. All your information must come from research you've already conducted. 4. Not linking to the client. Your brief must always, and I'm emphasizing always, be rooted in the real person or group you identified earlier. 5. Writing a design specification instead of a design brief. Remember, Strand 4, summary of analysis. Strand B, B1, detailed design specification. You have to keep them separate. What's an example of a breakdown? We have a client problem, Students frequently misplace pens, erasers, and small stationery items throughout the school day. What are research findings? Survey showed 78% need portable solution. Interviews revealed durability concerns with existing options. What were the constraints I identified? Budget limit of $5 per unit, must use lightweight, accessible materials, needs to fit in standard backpack. Design direction, foldable organizer with multiple pockets, durable fabric, compact design, easy access, compartments. Now, Strand 4 may seem small, but it's incredibly important. It shows your maturity as a designer. It proves that your decisions are based on evidence and critical thinking. With a clear, detailed, well-structured design brief, the next stages of the design cycle become easier, faster, and much more successful. Take your time, think deeply, and write confidently. You now have the tools to produce a level 7 to 8 design brief. Yeah, that's it for Criterion A, Strand 4. Please feel free to subscribe. Feel free to watch the other videos on Criterion B. See you soon.